everyone has a mission that they need to accomplish, and most of the time, you go right to what needs to be done.
So sometimes when something out of nowhere happens and changes your plans, you gotta roll with the punches.
Booker DeWitt, the private investigator shrouded in mystery from BioShock Infinite.
And Frank West, the photographer gone zombie killer from Dead Rising.
I'm Demon.
And I'm Marshall.
And it's our job to analyze both of these characters to their fullest, and see what would happen when these two fictional characters collide.
Do you know the saying, a picture is worth more than 1,000 words?
Here we go again with the poetic crap.
Well, in this case, it's more like $1,000.
Alright, I'm lost. Wasn't this about zombies or something?
Don't worry, it is. You'll see. Frank West was just your average photojournalist doing stated photojournalist things until he took a job to go investigate some place called Wilmette.
What does this have to do with $1,000 again?
Well, it actually means... You know what, I don't know, just roll with it.
Sure. Upon arriving there, Frank noticed destruction all over the place, but he didn't care. He eventually found his way to a huge-ass mall in which Frank would discover something hideous.
The graphics, the dialogue, or both?
It's an old game, so cut some slack. Anyways, he would discover that zombies had suddenly overtaken the city and eventually flooded the entire mall.
Did you just say zombies?
So what was Frank to do in this case? He was unarmed, untrained.
Untrained? He covered wars, you know.
Not that dead meme again. Well, no, he was left with one option. Improvise to survive.
While Frank may not have any superpowers or anime transformations, he has the ability to weaponize anything, ranging from cardboard boxes to saw blades. Wait, cardboard boxes?
Well, he yields your typical zombie-killing crap, such as chainsaws, baseball bats, and even guns. That will only get you so far in a world filled with zombies, psychopaths with tigers, and other crazy stuff. But to counteract this, Frank somehow picked up a new skill.
Combining random shit to make badass killing weapons of ultimate power.
That's one way to put it. And honestly, these things range from logical to stuff not even Bugs Bunny could pull off with this level of stupidity.
Let's start off with the basics, such as his spiked baseball bat, or his boxing gloves covered in knives. You know, for when you need to put Professor X schools for gifted youngsters on their asses.
Or his laser sword, made from a flashlight and some jewelry, because that's how science obviously works.
He's also got his electric sledgehammer, that's kind of like Thor's hammer, but with longer range, and apparently you don't look like a moron using it. Or my personal favorite, the Defiler, a sledgehammer fused with a fire axe that's used for hacking and smashing your foe's brains out.
He also has a lightning gun, which can shoot lightning. One better, he can mix that with his laser sword before to make a laser gun. Again, what the actual hell is with this guy?
Well, that's not even his most illogical weapon. I don't want to talk about this one, but
Frank can combine a very adult object with a leaf blower which creates this thing. It allows him to launch foes long distances, and no matter where the target lands, they always lose their head.
You can also shove spears on it, you know, to make an automatic stabbing device, jewelry for some sweet area damage, and then even a parasol to make into a ramming device.
He can combine boxing gloves with motor oil to make his own fiery fists of death. How does that not burn his hand?
The same way wearing a flaming cow skull doesn't kill him.
Doesn't really answer my question, so sure. He also has the paddle saw, which is the combination of a canoe paddle and chainsaws to mow down a coupload of enemies.
You think that's cool? You can combine spray paint with a traffic cone to make an air horn so powerful it blows people's heads up. He can make so much more shit like a flamethrower from a water gun and gasoline, a saw blade launcher with, believe it or not, saw blades, a tennis ball launcher that can fire tennis balls just as fast as bullets, and Frank can make a freeze bomb that he make with TNT and a fire extinguisher.
Does it freeze people, perhaps?
Wow, Captain Obvious, I couldn't tell.
Dear God, this arsenal is really massive. Additionally to all these, he also has access to weapons such as my personal favorite, a TNT bow and arrow, the plate launcher, the pitchfork shotgun, the Freedom Bear turret, Molotov cocktails, fireball guns, iceball guns,
alien laser vision mask, a flaming sword, an electric chair covered in assault rifles, the Hail Mary, the electric Blanca mask, and even a fireworks minigun, and so much more. Frank must have a hard time picking his favorites.
But one of Frank's best weapons is his camera. Yeah, I'm not joking. This guy uses his flash from his camera as a weapon.
Seriously, his camera is a better battery weapon than that laser gun?
Yes. Its flash at close range is equal to that of a flashbang.
Holy shit!
But wait, there's even more in Frank's arsenal of never-ending death.
Like his various exosuits that have machine guns, missiles, ice tornado launchers, freezing weapons, high-powered vacuums, and some other junk on them. Plus already boosting Frank's crazy stats.
Speaking of outrageous suits, he has the Capcom Heroes arcade machines, which give Frank access to multiple Capcom characters' powers and abilities.
Like his signature Mega Man stuff that gives him the access to the Mega Buster. The Rio outfit allows him to shoot Hadoukens and do spin attacks. And if Rio isn't enough, why not give him a Kuma suit as well? With that he can do the Raging Demon, an attack which destroys victims' souls. That's badass even for a photojournalist.
He can also use Dante's Ebony and Ivory pistols and Rebellion Sword with that outfit, and can channel the powers of Morrigan from Darkstalkers using that outfit, plus a couple others as well.
And of course there's also Frank's zombie form, in which he gained superhuman abilities and became nigh invincible. Although he does lose access to this weapon since, you know, he has to die and convenient plot stuff has to happen in order for him to achieve this form, so yada yada yada, he doesn't get it here.
Hang on, nearly done here, people.
Frank has his custom motorcycles that can have chainsaws, machine guns on them. Plus his combination drinks come in handy for whenever he needs to get some stat boosts.
Not to mention, Frank can also regain health by eating very specific foods. Apparently he's a picky eater. Doesn't make sense, kinda weird, but he can do that. Alright.
Don't forget, Frank is also a skilled wrestler who can flip kick people, disembowel them, suplex bitches, and even grab and throw bitches with his signature face smasher. But he does it for fighting. But he does this for fighting with his huge arsenal, of course.
Oh, thank God that's the last of it.
Wait, what?
So, we're on to Frank's feats, and close to the end of his analysis. I mean, the less chance we have of an unwanted guest who likes Frank West a bit too much to show up.
You mean Combo?
No, don't say his name! He might show up if you do! See, he almost found us.
Okay, then. Well, Frank is stupidly strong enough to disembowel and decapitate foes with ease, and with his weapons like the Hail Mary and laser gun, he can lay waste to hordes of zombies and psychos alike. Don't forget his exosuits, the exosuits he has, can power up to launch 2-ton cars with a single punch, and he only gets stronger when he gains his top-tier weapons.
Frank is really fast, as he can easily keep pace with humans and zombies that can dodge speeding cars and catch up to trains. Frank can also dodge bullets, explosions, laser fire, and electrical blasts like it's nothing. Even in his first game, he could dodge missiles.
Frank West is also pretty durable, surviving zombies clawing at him and even biting his dick.
We didn't need to know that.
Neither do I, but I learned it. Frank has also survived being shot, stabbed, and even tanked hits from his best weapons, such as the sniper rifles, laser guns, and of course, his Hail Mary. Frank has also been burned and hit by chainsaws, yet still continues to fight. What a champ!
Mr. West is pretty smart, as well as how else could he make all that stuff?
And he covered wars too, you know.
We already did that joke.
Oh well, how do I transition this? Ah yes, weaknesses. Frank isn't perfect, sadly, and has a couple of major flaws.
He is super cocky in his skill and kinda thinks that he is unstoppable, which he ain't.
Plus, while his weapons are amazing, they do have limited ammo and or durability. Once they break, they're gone and Frank is in a lot of trouble.
Frank is still also a human, believe it or not. Enough force can still kill him, such as a very powerful explosion, enough gunfire, being bitten in the dick by a zombie, and all of that other stuff.
Also, for the most part, Frank is primarily a melee fighter, and while he has a long-range weapons, he prefers to fight up close and personal, and has trouble dealing with foes much farther away.
But despite those flaws, Frank is ready to kick your butt with anything you give him. Just make sure you get the perfect pictures while he's doing it.
No, I can't let a civilian do that. That's against regulations.
Yeah, well, I don't think they had zombie-infested malls in mind when they wrote those regulations, kid.
You know how to use this?
Kinda. I've covered wars, you know.
Was the girl. Wipe away the debt. Those words can haunt a man for decades.
Hence the case with private investigator Booker DeWitt. You see, Booker had a major gambling problem and a debt to pay off, until the pair of siblings Robert and Rosalind Lutis came to him with a way to pay it off.
Oh, such as telling him to give his only daughter to them, where she'll be handed off to a crazy priest guy named Comstock, who's from another universe as well. We'll explain that all later. With guilt and sorrow, Booker went to the siblings once again to set all this straight. To go to Columbia and find the girl.
Why did he need to go to Colombia, and why does he need to go to a lighthouse to get there in the first place?
You see, Archer, this isn't any ordinary Columbia. It was a floating city in the sky. But no, besides that, it was run by a familiar man known as Comstock, who was seen as a prophet from God to help the next generation. Whatever that means.
Too bad his idea of a next generation is full of a bunch of white nationalists who support slavery. And if they see an interracial couple, they'll have a raff on who gets to throw baseballs at them first. Doesn't hope that they also have a golden statue of John Wick's booth there too.
That is not what I was expecting. Kind of fucked up if I do say myself, Archer.
Agreed. Anyways, when Booker arrived there, it wasn't really the best time. For one, he nearly got drowned by a priest, was shanghaied by the Sky Police of Colombia, and was seen as the false shepherd for whatever reason.
Man, Booker didn't really catch a break much, did he?
No, not really.
Seems like every minute he has to deal with some crazy messed up shit.
BioShock Infinite in a nutshell.
Well, in order to combat this, he needed to get his hands on a couple of certain weapons to finish the job, like his skyhook. With it, he can bash enemy skulls in with ease and even pierce right through them. He can also be used to break enemies' necks, and just like its namesake, makes for a good skyline transportation.
For firearms, he has a broadsider, which is an old-school pistol that carries massive amounts of ammo, and is good for aiming well-placed shots. The Triple F machine gun is, despite being a machine gun, easy to carry, and is able to mow down enemies within seconds.
Wait, the Triple Fox machine gun?
No, demons. It's not meant to be named that, just... never mind.
The China Broom shotgun is a pump-action shotgun, which is good for dealing heavy damage close-up. Sucks for when using it at long range, however. Booker is also packing the Huntsman carbine, a glorious mix between a shotgun and a machine gun. If you basically hit anyone anywhere with it, you'll have a giant gaping hole into them.
I'll consider that Booker's welcoming present. Not really that welcoming, though.
But this gun's also semi-automatic as well, making it one of his more useful guns.
The Founder's Volley shoots flaming explosives at the enemy in an arc, or even bounce along the ground. But it does have low ammo, so Booker does need to worry about how much ammo he uses for it.
The Vox here is basically another shotgun with fire bullets, but it's much more hotter. So imagine 6 to 8 burning bullets hitting you all at once. Ouch. He also has the glorious crank gun. You know how a minigun is automatic? The crank gun works the same, but you need to crank a lever again and again to keep firing. Despite this, it's a beautiful display of massacre and patience right there.
The Vox Repeater is basically a much slower and stronger version of the machine gun, but it holds less ammo. The Barnstormer RPG is basically just your average rocket launcher that any man can carry around with ease. And Booker's Bird's Eye Sniper Rifle is an old-timey hunting rifle, able to gun down people with a well-placed shot. However, he does need to be patient while using it.
My all-time favorite, the Patty Whacker hand cannon, is basically what the name implies. It's as small as a pistol with the firepower of a frickin' cannon. But it does have a short ammo supply like a few of his other weapons, sadly.
The Box Hail and Burst Gun is basically the same thing as the Volley Gun and other Burst Gun, just colored differently. They shoot stuff and yay.
Great description right there.
Sad thing with Booker, however, is that he can only carry 2 firearms at a time, meaning he needs to be strategic on what gun he holds. Good thing he has luck on his side, as there always seems to be a gun laying around whenever he goes.
So what does Booker do if he's short on pow-pow stuff? He uses one of his many vigors. It's like plasmids from other games, but instead of injecting it into your body, you drink it.
That doesn't sound safe.
Just like plasmid, it does the same thing to your body, changing your genetic code to use crazy superpowers. Like the possession vigor, in which Booker can control any man or machine to fight for him. And when it wears off in a human, they kind of commit suicide.
Because that seems safe to use and to give to anyone. But it doesn't work on people who are man and machine at the same time. Which would make you think it should work on them much easier, but whatever, it's logic.
With the Devil's Kiss, he can throw burning balls of fire and even set them as traps for the enemy to step on to cause massive fiery explosions. And the Murderer Crow lets Booker summon hordes of murderous crows to eat the enemies alive and leave nested traps in the carcasses. The Shock Jockey is him literally shooting electricity out of his fingertips, just like a certain Sith Lord.
Oh, real funny.
Which can power up machines, shoot out electrical crystals, traps, cause why not? And with the Bucking Bronco, he can launch his enemies into the air and make them freeze, leaving them easy targets.
The Overthrow is Booker basically using a giant water tentacle to push his enemies out of bounds into a bottomless pit, or bringing them closer to him in order to deal more damage. The Ram is self-explanatory, you just charge into your enemy to send them flying.
The Spartan Rebound lets him absorb all incoming attacks into a small ball of energy, which he sends back to kill his enemies, with the force of their own weapons, pretty much.
With all these vigors and weapons, it's no wonder Booker can mow down an entire army of rebels on his own. He can also survive a fall from the clouds into the ocean. He fought in actual historical wars, and even went through multiple dimensions to fight and kill dangerous wars and veteran soldiers, including that giant robot Patriots with the miniguns.
Alright, the dimension thing. Unlike the first two games, BioShock Infinite introduces the multiverse theory to make the game much more annoying and plot twisty to everyone. Turns out Booker and Comstock were the same person in many universes. How does that make sense, people?
Comstock is what the new game many Bookers went by after their baptism and being reborn into the world after the Battle of the Wounded Knee. And this Comstock from another universe was also the man who gave his daughter Elizabeth too as well. So not only did he meet other Bookers, he freaking murdered one as well. And that's not talking about the DLC. Man, my head hurts.
Well, then we can't really add that Booker from the DLC either, since this isn't the same Booker. Since, that one died at the end of the main game, and the Booker from the DLC also died, so yeah. All the Bookers don't really catch a break, but then again, Booker does have some faults as well. Just why BioShock Infinite?
Because edgy plot twists, demon! Edgy plot twists! So edgy.
Yeah. Despite his more intense emotional baggage, Booker is also still just a human, so he can still die by normal means. And yes, his vigors are amazing, but he's a constant supply of salts. No salts, no vigors.
But then again, this Booker will roll his sleeves, drink a vigor, and try to set everything right once again. Or die trying, I don't know.
Booker, are you afraid of God?
No. But I'm afraid of you.
Okay, the combatants are finally set. It's time to settle this.
It's time for these two fictional characters to collide. Wait a minute. Archer, stop. We don't have an animation. You know what that means?
What?
We'll be showing everyone's predictions who actually made for this episode. We'll be right back, everyone, after you watch some small predictions from the fans.
Have fun. I totally knew about this and wasn't informed that at the last minute. Have fun.
Oh, what am I doing? Alright. So, I don't know who Booker DeWitt or Frank West is, but, I mean, look at Frank West. He's just, like, fat. He's ugly. Booker's definitely gonna win. I mean, that is one sexy man. I mean, Frank's got, like, what, no weapons and no skill. Nah, he can't win. Booker, he's got this, bro. He's got this. Backwoods down!
That's enough. It's fucking enough.
So yeah, Mr. Frank West, we're gonna talk about his biggest feats right now, so hold on. Not only his biggest feats are pretty strong, he uses a baseball bat for combat, he uses a lot of stuff to combine to make an actual weapon out of them and kill zombies with that. So, who do I think will win? I mean, this can go to Frank West himself. Why do I think that? Well, for starters, Frank has his exosuit, which can definitely kill Booker. If not that, then meet my old buddy, Zombie Frank, over here. He doesn't have that much feats, but he's really powerful in his form. So this match will probably go to Frank West himself, man. And I probably think that's
Fantastic.
so yeah, that's why I think Frank West might win. So thank you for watching, and go check out the Great Demons channel. And I'll see you all next time.
Great Demon, buddy, are you even going to have any good characters to use next season? I mean, we're only on episode 4, and you've already used so many great ones like Ryuko and Bayonetta and Calamaria, the Giga Mermaid, Peacock, Cuphead. Hell, you're using Frank West right now. Honestly, you are leaving no good characters for next season. But for reals, let's talk about Frank West versus Booker. Now, based on the amount of Frank West fights I've done, the amount of Frank West fights I have planned, the videos I've put up about Frank West, the gameplay I'm providing to you, and even the research I'm giving to the Great Demon on Frank West, I mean, it's pretty obvious, I'm siding with Frank West in this fight. Now, this isn't to say it's going to be an easy fight for Frank. Far from it. Booker has survived a fall from above the clouds into the ocean, and their strength should be about equal at large building. They've both dodged bullets and lightning before. So while Booker's definitely more durable, they're about even in all the other stats, until you look at some of Frank's better items. He's got stat boosting smoothies that allow him to take stat leads and edges in other areas, and he can eat and drink pretty much anything to heal health back. So Frank definitely has ways of keeping up with Booker's superior durability and even surpassing him in some of the stats that they would be previously even in. No, the real deciding factor in this is, can Booker keep up with Frank's unpredictable arsenal and just ridiculously endless creativity and imagination? And can Frank deal with Frank's vigors and guns? Well, the answer is, well, let's find out. For one, Frank can deal with Booker's guns easily. He's had to deal with psychos before who use guns all the time, and Frank has used guns himself. I mean, he's covered wars, you know. So those bullets and guns aren't going to do too much unless he pulls out something ridiculous like a bazooka or a minigun, which I know Booker does have some sort of chain gun, but he can only carry 2 guns at a time. Now, the vigors are definitely where Frank is going to struggle the most. You have things like the murder of crows, the Book and Bronco, the fireballs, you got a water tentacle that pulls in enemies, but some of those he's more than ready to deal with. For one, the murder of crows, Frank West is a horde fighter. He fights hordes of zombies and psychos at the same time, so he's more than capable of taking on more than one target at a time. Then we have to look at things like the water tentacle that pulls in enemies and stuns them. Problem is, Frank West is a melee fighter. If he's to pull in Frank West, he's ended himself. That's his funeral, which is another important part of this battle. Booker is a very much far-range fighter, whereas Frank is very much melee fighting. It's not to say that either can't do both, but Frank West is much more akin to melee, whereas Booker's much more akin to far range. So then there's even more to pick apart in this fight when you look at the weapons. So yeah, I already mentioned most of what Booker has to offer. I mean, there are other vigors that I'm not fully aware of what they do. Oh, there is a possession one, which I don't think that's going to work on Frank West for one reason and one reason only. Frank West was once turned into a zombie, but instead of being the mindless zombies that you murder in that game, he had full consciousness. Yeah, I don't think possession's going to work too well on someone who is fully conscious and aware of what they were doing as a zombie and had full control of their body. So, weaponry-wise, Frank West definitely has enough to trick up poor Booker. Not only does he have melee skills of his own, ranging from MMA to boxing to wrestling, but he also has weapons like the chainsaw paddle, a freaking buzzsaw launcher, a lightsaber, a laser gun. He's got a firework minigun. He's got a broom with a machete taped to it. He's got flaming cow skulls he can wear. He's got shotguns with pitchforks taped to him. He's got an electric hammer that's like Mjolnir, but with like a longer handle so you don't look like a dipshit. He's got weapons ranging from all sorts of shit that Booker is not ready for. Not to say he can't adapt to it, but there's no way he can adapt to so many weapons all at once. And I did mention earlier, Booker can only hold 2 guns. Frank can hold so many of his weapons at a time, and mix that in with his stat-boosting smoothies and magazines, and he's ready for this fight. Plus, you get into things like the Capcom Heroes arcade machine, the exosuits, where Frank can launch out ice tornadoes, use ebony and ivory being Dante's pistols, along with the Rebellion sword, straight up use all of Morgan's from Darkstalker's entire moveset, or just turn into like Ryu and shoot a Hadoken, or turn into fucking Akuma and Raging Demon his ass and destroy his soul. So yeah, Frank's got ways around dealing with Booker's superior durability, and Frank's arsenal is way too unpredictable for Booker to adapt to literally everything in there. So with incredibly high difficulty, I have to give it to Frank West. I'd say he wins this at least 5.5, if not 6 out of 10 times.
The outcome is set, and we're here to tell you the winner. The winner is Frank West.
Well, that was kind of unexpected. So why does Frank West win? Well, let's talk about the main category first, weapons and strength. While Booker's vigors are highly impressive, they do have a limited amount of salt. Meanwhile, Frank's massive arsenal and his skill to literally turn anything into a weapon trumps Booker in this department.
Before people come at us saying that the possession vigor can be instant trump cards for Booker, remember, Frank West survived being a brain-dead zombie and still had his mind and wits intact unlike everyone else that Booker controlled. Where normal people couldn't be controlled, like the handyman who's basically immune to it.
Don't get us wrong, Booker does have the edge and durability for being able to survive falls from the sky with ease and landing face first into the ocean with almost no injury. But Frank has shown much greater strength without his weapons. Frank is capable of ripping heads through heads with only his bare hands, while Booker needs things like a skyhook just to get to a similar outcome.
And with reaction speed, overall speed, etc., both have shown to have dodge electricity, rocket launcher fire, and bullets. Well, Frank has shown he can do it much more easily than Frank can really dodge this type of stuff on a daily basis, while Booker just hasn't shown the same level of skill Frank has in dodging these types of attacks.
And if you do more stuff than the other person, it means that you're kind of going to get an edge over that other person, as Frank's skill is far better than Booker's.
While Booker does have the overall experience and combat training advantage thanks to being an actual soldier before battling in Wounded Knee, but Frank has fought alongside and against his fair share of soldiers with similar decades of experience.
Don't forget to include Frank's exosuits and Capcom costumes, where he has shown amazing physical strength with.
Not to mention, while Booker's firearms seem far more impressive, Booker can only carry 2 at a time, hampering his effectiveness with them. Frank, on the other hand, can carry any amount of firearm plus any other weapons with ease, meaning he will always have a leg up on Booker for whenever he tries to do something.
Plus, what's not stopping Frank from using the Dante outfit to completely stomp Booker, or Akuma's outfit to one-shot with a raging demon, which comes out really fast, or just becoming OP with his Mega Man suit, therefore making it impossible for Booker to hurt him.
Dang, I didn't even think about that. By adding what Archer said into the mix, it just gives more reason on why Frank would win this battle.
In the end, Booker had the durability, combat experience, and intelligence advantages. Frank was just far more stronger, more unpredictable, and his reaction speed was far greater, as well as his arsenal of weapons and abilities, which is what ultimately gave Frank the win.
It seems Booker won't be rising from this BioShock of a loss.
Booker must be dead after that one. There was no infinite chance that Booker was going to win.
Only I can make continuous puns around here, Archer.
Sure thing, Demon.
The winner is Frank West.
What is it, Stacy?
Frank, I've been trying to reach you for hours. There's a guy here.
Let me guess. Guy stuck in a store, 12 zombies around him, needs a piggyback to the safe house. Well, I guess playtime's over.
Next time on Fictional Characters Collide.